There's this picture of a baby doll holding a sign that says German baby.
What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? German baby 1200. Oh my god, dude. There's a lot of conspiracies going on around, today. You know what I'm saying? A lot of conspiracies going on, bruh. And to be honest, bruh, I don't believe in conspiracies because they're all true. But the top 1%, they're super depraved. They're, retards. They'll do anything to hold their power. And it's crazy, man. It's fucking ridiculous. But we got ourselves PIZZAGATE, the internet's most darkest rabbit hole, from Chase. If I've heard of the PIZZAGATE shit, bro, you know what I'm saying? We know how these people be. They be eating babies and shit. We seen the files, bro. Let's see what's going on, man. Video.
Could you imagine a world where the top 1%, the elites of our society, the ruling class, the ones who run the government and are pulling the strings behind everything, are secretly involved in some of the most depraved things that you could ever possibly imagine? I'm getting a feeling of deja vu. I feel like I've heard this story before somewhere. Nowadays, that might not be that hard to believe, but back in 2016, this was something that was unfathomable to most people. How's it going, everyone?
Yeah.
Welcome or welcome back. My name is Chase, and today we're talking about PIZZAGATE. So when PIZZAGATE started getting traction during the heated 2016 election cycle on places like Poll, 4chan's political board.
Of course. By the way, Epstein and Steve Bannon, all them niggas, bruh. They was running that 4chan shit, bro. It's crazy.
It wasn't hard to initially dismiss the whole thing as nothing more than a crazy alt-right conspiracy, but I think it's worth revisiting the theory in modern times, especially in light of recent events. Let me say first and foremost that I have no political bias here, and all I care about is the evidence that has been presented. My goal is not to convince you that PIZZAGATE is real, nor is it to disprove it. All I'm here to do is present to you the theory as a whole.
It's probably fucking real. Let's be honest. It's probably fucking real.
And all the supporting evidence.
It's probably real.
And then you can come to your own conclusions. I'll also note here that I've spent over a month going down this rabbit hole, and every mainstream source is so quick to say that it's debunked and there's no truth behind it at all, but I haven't seen a single...
It's crazy because, like, a lot of these news media companies are, like, bought out by, like, the billionaires and shit. It's crazy.
One of them actually debunk any of the evidence. But you should obviously take their word for it because they probably have hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars even, and I'm just a little chud in my room sitting at my computer, so I'm sure they just have more information that I don't and no one else does for some reason. Viewer discretion, of course. We're going to be talking about some dark shit here, so if you don't want to watch that, this is not the video for you. That all said, I hate to say it, but don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and let's get right into it. PIZZAGATE sparked in 2016 when WikiLeaks published over 20,000 emails from the inbox of John Podesta,
Heard about this guy?
campaign chairman during her presidential run. Immediately after these leaks were published, people online began scanning these emails line by line, finding many strange references and jokes that sparked suspicion that there was something more going on here. Before we go over some of these emails, it's important to note here that while the interpretations of the coded language within the emails...
after seeing, like, the Epstein files and shit, bro, it's just a realization that, like, all these politicians are on the same team, bro. They all receive money from these billionaires, and they're all full of shit. That's just what it is, bro. Like, I wouldn't say this is a conspiracy theory. They're all guilty, bro.
Unsubstantiated.
They all are.
The emails themselves are completely legitimate. The Podesta emails were reviewed and confirmed to be authentic by multiple U.S. intelligence agencies, including the CIA, FBI, and the NSA, which is the National Security Agency. So while the interpretations of these emails can be debated, nobody is disputing the authenticity of the emails themselves. Of course, I can't talk about all 20,000 emails here, and most of them are mundane and irrelevant to what we're here to talk about today. But here are a few of the most notable ones that helped fuel the initial theory. One of the first emails that really caught people's attention was sent by Susan Sandler, a philanthropist and political donor who did donate to Hillary Clinton's 2016 campaign run.
Of course.
To John Podesta. The email reads, "Hi John, the realtor found a handkerchief. I think it has a map that seems pizza related. Is it..."
Bro, what you think?
Your ruse?
Wait, hold on. Let me read this real quick. Pizza related, is it yours? They can send it to if you want to. I know you're busy, so feel free not to respond if it's not yours, you don't want it. I just came from checking the field house and I have a square cloth handkerchief, white with black, that was left on the kitchen island. Happy to send a. What island you think they fucking talking about, nigga? Kitchen Island. Come on now.
They can send it if
They eat babies. They eat babies. These fucking. They're weirdos. They're all on the same team, bro.
want. I know
And they're
you're
just covering
busy,
each
so
other's
feel free
asses.
not to respond
It's
if it's not yours or
crazy,
you don't
bro.
want it. I just came from checking the field house, and I have a square cloth handkerchief, white with black, that was left
Okay.
on the kitchen island. Happy to send it via mail if you let me know where I should send it. It's not hard to see why this would catch people off guard. What is a map that seems pizza related on a handkerchief? What the fuck does that even mean? Well, coincidentally, the handkerchief code is a color-coded system that people use to communicate their interests and pleasures non-verbally. Different colors relate to different acts or things that people are into, and I will not elaborate farther on that. If it's that important to you, you can look that up on your own time.
It's some
People
wild
are,
ass
like,
shit,
old
I bet you.
boomers, so maybe they just communicate differently and they have some dementia going on. But again, what is a pizza-related map? What even is that? Another email that caught people's attention was sent to John Podesta by Herbert Sandler, who was at the time a co-CEO of Golden West Financial Corporation, a major political donor to the Clinton campaign.
Okay.
Now Herbert Sandler is burning in hell. I'm joking. Rest in peace, Herbert Sandler. I'm sure he did nothing wrong at all.
Oh, he for sure did.
Mary and John, I think you should give notice when changing strategies which have been long in place. I immediately realized something was different by the shape of the box, and I contemplated who would be sending me something in the square-shaped box. Lo and behold, instead of pasta and wonderful sauces, it was a lovely, tempting assortment of cheeses. Yummy. I'm awaiting the return of my children and grandchildren from their holiday travels so that we can demolish them. Thank you so much. I hope you and your gang are well. I miss you both. Best wishes, Fro.
Them motherfuckers be eating babies, bro. That's gotta be what it is, bro. We already seen the shit in the Epstein files. What makes you think they not talking about that, bro?
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Herb.
Okay.
PS, do you think I'll do better playing dominoes on cheese than pasta? The thing that stood out
Bro, what the fuck? Bro, you know, this is code. This is code word for shit.
as weird to people
It
is
has to
that
be.
last line. It's just worded in such a strange way. People don't typically refer to eating something as being on something. People online began theorizing that cheese and pasta and these terms used for food were actually code word for something else. That something else being kids. And I know that's quite the leap in logic to make, but
It is kids. It's literally kids. It's literally fucking kids. I know he's trying not to be biased and shit. I get that, but I'm just gonna speak from my opinion, which is fact. They're eating babies. They're
it's
eating
not the only
kids.
example of
They
strange
hunt
reference-
humans for fun. This is how they think. They view us as subhuman. They view us as inferior. They don't view us as human, actually. They view us all as second-class Americans, bro.
to food in these emails.
They're all
This
on the
email
same
sent from
team,
Tony
man.
Podesta, John Podesta's brother, love to get a pizza for an hour. Like, again, what does that mean? If we're just talking about lunch, that is not a normal way to say that. Imagine your friend gets a hold
I
of
know
you
what
and
they talking
say,
about.
"Hey dude, you want to go get a pizza for about an hour?" Like, what? What does that mean? This one is in a long chain of emails, so I'll spare
Okay.
you from me reading the entire thing. But the part that stood out to people here was Bonnie will be Uber service to transport Ruby, Emerson, and Maeve Lozado, 11, 9, and almost 7. So you'll have some farther entertainment, and they will be in that pool for sure. Excuse me? What? That obviously sounds really bad.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Unfortunately, there's no context that makes it sound any better. And it just gets weirder because there's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down with this woman. Reportedly, Lozado ran a website known as Evie's Crib, which was kind of like a blog. It's hard to confirm because as soon as people started talking about this, it was removed.
I think people need to come to an understanding that, like, all these politicians, left and right, they're all on the same team, and they're not real politicians. They're just actors for the top 1%, for the Epstein class, right? For the people who are really wealthy and successful in this country, not just in this country, but this whole world that is ran by sadist PDF files. They all go to Bohemian Grove. They worship Moloch or Baal the demon. That's what it is about.
Moved almost immediately, but if this blog is real, it looks really bad. The website apparently featured many pictures of Lozado around young children, including her step-granddaughter, Evie. The header of the website reads, "Evelyn is growing up. Soon she will be the queen of the entire US of A." Right now, for a limited time only, you can spend some time with her online, raw and uncut. Take advantage of this now, as in the future she will have the power of life and death over you. First of all, why are people spending time online with your granddaughter at all? And then raw and uncut, that is just a really weird way to describe that. Whoever was running this website categorized these posts with labels so you can find exactly what you're looking for easily. Posts were labeled under categories such
I bet you it's not up there anymore. They definitely delete that shit, bro.
as
There's no way.
psychopath, evil white bitch, filth, malpractice, discomfort, manipulation, and Ambien.
Sorry.
My bad, y'all. My bad, sorry.
Ambien, for those who don't know, is a prescription drug that is classified as a hypnotic and is used to treat insomnia short term. One of the side effects of Ambien is that it wipes your memory. Many people have no recollection of
Bro, these politicians, man, bro, they sick as fuck, bro.
anything
All
else
of
that
them.
occurred or what
They're
they
all sick and they're all
they
retarded.
did after dosing. Why would that be a category on this blog that she apparently uses to post pictures of her children and grandchildren? That's really anyone's best guess. Another picture on this blog shows a baby after bath time, and while not inherently sinister, it's definitely a little bit weird even though you can't see anything. But the caption here is what really stands out. It ends with, "Unrated version of this photo available only to premium subscribers." At the absolute
Yo,
best, if
bruh,
this
these
website
niggas
is
are
real, which
crazy.
again, I can't confirm. This is an incredibly weird and tasteless joke to make. This is something that I feel uncomfortable even saying right now. The last email
Yeah.
we'll cover for right now is sent by Maria Abramovich to Tony Podesta and later forwarded to his brother John Podesta. Google describes Abramovich as a conceptual performance artist who has pushed the boundaries of performance art as a visual art form since the 1970s. Personally, I would just say that she's a freak, but anything is art, right? Dear Tony, I am so looking forward to the spirit cooking dinner at my place. Do you think you will be able to let me know if your brother is joining?
This is just Epstein shit all over again, bro. But this is like, this is crazy, dude.
All my love, Marina Abramovich. I think I called her Maria a second ago, but anyways, it seems innocent enough at first glance. But what is spirit cooking? I mean, probably just some unconventional or traditional way of cooking if I had to guess.
Okay.
But it actually turns out that's not what it is at all. You see, spirit cooking is an art form or occult ritual invented by Abramovich.
Bohemian Grove, bro. Epstein. There's a whole, we have a world order of pedophile elite that run this world, bro. That's what the fuck this is,
Inspired
bro.
by the idea that ghosts feed off of intangible things like light, sound, and emotion. For this reason, her recipes involve things like evocative instructions for actions and thoughts, and bodily fluids. A few excerpts from her cookbook are as follows. With a sharp knife, cut deeply into your middle finger of your left hand. Eat the pain. Look in the mirror for as long as it is necessary for your face to disappear. Don't eat the light. A moment ago, I referred to spirit cooking as an art project or an occult ritual, and I wasn't being facetious. This is how Abramovich herself views her work. In an AMA on Reddit, Marina says herself that the context is what makes something art or not. Quote, "Everything depends on which context you are doing what you are doing. If you are doing the occult magic in the context of art or in a gallery, then it is art. If you are doing it in a different context, in spiritual circles or private house or on TV shows, it is not art. The intention, the context for what it is made, and where it is made defines what art is or not." So in her own
This is some sadist ass shit, though.
words, they are
Really?
doing an occult ritual.
Yeah.
If you're curious to see this spirit cooking, you can find a video online of Abramovich giving one of these artistic performances herself as demonstration. The video shows Abramovich writing phrases from her cookbook.
It's crazy. Like the more people have power and the more people get wealthy, the more they fall into this kind of shit, bro. It's
on a wall
crazy.
in pig's blood and then dousing the statue of a small child in it. Now, of course, there's no way to say for sure if John Podesta attended this spirit cooking event or not, but coincidentally,
for sure.
in photographs from around that time, John Podesta can be seen with a band-aid on his left hand's middle finger. And people online have also mentioned that his hands, and particularly his fingers,
they are all guilty. They're all pedophiles, and they're all retarded. That's just what it is, bro. They're all on the same team. Who would have thought? Oh no.
are awfully scarred, as if they've been deeply wounded.
Oh my god, dude.
But I'm sure that's unrelated. Clearly, these are really bad optics, and we've already reached a point where the absolute best case scenario is that these people are involved in the occult and are doing blood rituals in private. People who
100%.
are powerful ruling class members of society are being invited to, in private, perform ceremonies and worship old world gods like Moloch and Baal. But more on that in a second. This is where James Alphonsus and his world-famous pizza come in, and it only gets weirder. So who is James Alphonsus? Well, he's an entrepreneur who owns Comet Ping Pong, a pizza restaurant located in Washington, D.C., and also a location that was
Come on, bro.
frequently mentioned in the Podesta emails.
Oh
He's
my
also
god,
one of the most
dude.
powerful and influential people in the nation that you've never heard of. Despite being nothing more than a restaurant owner, GQ listed him as one of the 50 most powerful people in Washington in an article
In Washington, D.C. too, bro. That's
published
crazy.
in 2012. GQ writes, liberal 20-somethings in khakis drink beer and eat pizza at Alphonsus-owned Comet Ping Pong. More established progressives wine and dine next door at Alphonsus-owned Buck's Fishing Camping. Alphonsus is also the board president of Transformer, the contemporary art gallery that shamed the Smithsonian for removing an installation offensive to right-wingers. When it comes to DC radical chic, Alphonsus is unsurpassed. If you don't know him, you aren't wearing your scarf right. So basically, this restaurant owner is the pretentious king of the woke, and if you're left-wing and you don't know who James Alphonsus is, you must not be wearing your scarf right. Get out of my pizza shop, you peasant. When it comes to
Bro, these people in our government, they view us all as second-class Americans. They will do anything to cover their fucking asses, bro. Start a war, world war. They're willing to do fucking anything, bro.
Radical chic in DC, I am undefeated. Anyways, if this guy is one of the 50 most powerful people in our nation's capital, he must make some pretty good pizza, or have connections somewhere else, right? Well, James Alphonsus is a gay man who was involved in a relationship with David Brock, who was chief of Media Matters, a major media organization tied to the Democratic Party, until he left in 2022. David Brock also founded Correct the Record, a super PAC created in 2016 to support the Clinton campaign. At a surface level, this doesn't seem that weird, and it does help explain some of the political power and influence that James Alphonsus has. But then people found his Instagram account, @JimmyComet, and as you can probably guess,
what the fuck is on my screen?
We'll start with this picture that he had up on his Instagram showing a young child being held in a man's arms. Nothing wrong with that, but the caption of this picture is #ChickenLovers. Chicken lover is
Illuminati was onto some shit, my nigga. It's Illuminati. Spiritual soul. He was onto some shit. He was saying niggas is eating, they're making Popeye chicken sandwiches. They're made out of babies, bro.
Is well-known coded language that was used in the 1994 documentary film Chicken Hawk that focuses on homosexual relationships with a large age gap. An age gap so large that it makes the relationship itself criminal. There's also this image that appears to be of a walk-in cooler being referred to as the kill room in the comments. Alphonsus captioned this picture, "Oh yeah, this looks fun," and then he went into the comments under his own post and wrote #murder. And like with everything else here, this is really only barely scratching the surface. There are countless weird pictures and captions from the Jimmy Comment Instagram, and if we went through all of them, we would be here all day. There's this picture of a young child with euros in his mouth, and Jimmy Comment writes, #Karis James loves spending euros. There's this picture of a baby doll holding a sign that says German baby.
What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? German baby 1200. Oh my god, dude.
$1,200. Please do not touch. Jimmy Comment writes, way overpriced. There's this picture of a young child with their hands taped to a ping pong table. And in the comments again, someone else writes, #KarisJames. Karis James seems to be a recurring thing referenced in Jimmy Comments captions and comments, and it's really anyone's best guess
I wonder who's liking those. Like, it's probably gotta be like a bunch of politicians. Imagine like liking them and shit. There's a whole list of them niggas.
what that could be. But coincidentally, there is a small Caribbean island or island named Little St. James.
Oh
that
my
Caribbean
God,
island
dude.
named Little St. James happened to be owned by a now very famous financier who was from New York. I'm sure you've seen that guy's name in the news recently. And of course, this was years before anyone knew what was happening at that island. That wouldn't come until 2019. Then people realized that Jimmy Comet's profile picture on Instagram wasn't a picture of him, it was actually a picture of a statue. Nothing weird about that, except that this specific statue was the statue of Antinous. Antinous was a Greek pubescent who got involved in a relationship with Roman Emperor Hadrian, who was in his late 40s, and he is specifically known as the Greek boy lover. Now, this wasn't seen as anything bad in the ancient world societal norms, but of course we look at that a lot differently today. And this easily could have just been a coincidence, but in the bigger picture and everything else being considered, it's not hard to see why it would raise some questions. And that's really what this entire theory is based off of. How many coincidences are you willing to overlook in order to believe the official narrative that there's nothing else going on?
And that's why I say I don't believe in conspiracy theories no more, because they're all true. They're real. They're not conspiracy theories. It's a fact. It's all real, bro. You know, them worshiping, eating babies, all that shit. It's all real, bro. Hunting, sending out people in the woods and sniping them. You know what I mean? Role playing with them and shit. Like, this is what they do, bro. And they view us all as second-class Americans. They don't even view us as human. You know what I mean? They have us fighting and arguing over each other, over left versus right. How come the Democrats aren't doing anything? How come the Republicans aren't doing anything? They're all on the same team. They all do this kind of shit. And that's why Israel blackmailed them. And that's why there's dick sucking to Israel and Putin. You know, right? So this is what happens, bro.
Even if you think this is just a bunch of conspiracy nonsense,
it's not conspiracy.
It's not hard to see why so many people buy into it, because in order to believe there's nothing else going on, you have to chalk so many things up to coincidence and just overlook them. The cryptic emails, the occult rituals being mentioned in the emails, the profile picture, the pictures posted on the Instagram. And there's also the elephant in the room of why is this man who is attracted to other men, so he has no kids of his own, spending so much time around so many different young children? Putting aside the weird contexts and captions of these pictures, who even are these children? And clearly I'm not the only one wondering that, because even Snopes notes how strange his Instagram was and how James Alefantis does not have any children, and neither do his closest associates.
Of course.
And they also note how it was privated only 2 days after it was found, so clearly he knew how bad this all looked. And they even say in the same article that PIZZAGATE is false and it's all nonsense and not real at all. So even they can't.
And a lot of them are even like, they're bought out by wealthy people, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
the elephant in the room and be like, yeah, this guy's Instagram page is really fucking weird, and we actually have no clue who these kids are. And again, that's overlooking all the other stuff. Even if we knew how these kids were connected to James Alefantis, the pictures would still be really weird. The context of them, the captions. But on top of all of that, this is a guy with a boyfriend, so the kids clearly aren't his, and his closest associates and his friends don't have any children. While none of this is hard evidence of anything criminal happening, it really does make you wonder what's really going on here, and that's a genuine question. I would love for somebody to explain to me how this is all very innocent in nature and there's nothing going on, and I'm open to that explanation, I just haven't heard it. All of this just looks very weird, and it seems like the farther down this rabbit hole you go...
I'm glad that people are waking up and seeing the bullshit with our country, bro. This is a good thing. This is a good thing.
You're left with more questions than answers. All I'm saying is that when you connect all the dots together, it really doesn't look good, and it does make you wonder if there's more going on here than what we know. Speaking of connecting the dots, James Alefantis has this picture of Marina Abramovich posted to his Instagram. So at the very least, he's a fan of her work, which I would say isn't exactly normal. I don't think I've ever personally met a Marina Abramovich fan, and I think most people don't even know who the hell that is. James Alefantis also has connections to Tony Podesta, John Podesta's brother. Here they are pictured together in what seems to be some sort of campaign or fundraiser taking place at Comet. Doesn't really matter, but there they are. Okay, but that could just be a campaign. That doesn't really prove that they know each other, right? Well, here's another picture from the event that is much more candid, and it was posted to Jimmy Comet. He is literally brushing elbows with Tony Podesta in front of a cake, and side note, this guy is absolutely cheesing. Whether they know each other well or not, clearly Alefantis is very happy to be there next to Tony Podesta. And this just raises even more questions, especially when you look into Tony Podesta's art collection. And that's a whole nother can of worms that I'm not going to open here. All I'll say is that if you look at this guy's art collection, it feels illegal. It feels like I'm doing something wrong seeing it on my computer, and it's all over this guy's walls. When I started researching this, I went in hoping to find answers to some of this, but it doesn't seem like there are any. Everyone's very quick to tell you that this is all conspiracy and it's made up nonsense, and that
it's not conspiracy. It's literally the truth. It's real.
very well might be the case, but nobody actually shows you where it's been disproven. Now let's talk about some of the symbolism.
Some people are just gonna be in denial, though. Like, they're just gonna be in denial about it. It's fucking crazy.
That people have noticed, because I know I've said it a few times at this point, but it really does just get weirder and weirder. In 2007, an FBI document leaked showing specific symbols that predators use to identify each other. While looking at this document, people noticed that these symbols appear quite frequently in businesses, logos, and imagery of not only Comet Pizza, but surrounding businesses as well. For starters, Comet Pizza had this Play, Eat, and Drink, or PED logo on their website, which many people believe resembles one of these symbols. On the subject of Comet Pizza's website, the website was hacked.
It's like a secret code amongst all the the wealthiest and all the politicians. That's what this is.
In 2016, and the hacker shared an apparent members-only section. This members-only area was password protected, but when a password was entered, it brought you to a downloads page. On this page, you're able to download various large zip files, but each one requires a specific download key. Keep in mind, this is a pizza place. What could possibly be the reason to have a members-only section on the website with downloadable files available? And what is in these folders that is so exclusive that each one requires a unique password in order to be able to download it? And this wasn't some staff-only area of the website, which even that wouldn't really make any sense, but there were apparently 110 people in this exclusive pizza club. And again,
how many wealthy people are in this country? Like over 100 billionaires? You know what I mean? Think about that, bro. And then you got politicians, you got world leaders.
And once this came out, the entire section of the website disappeared.
Oh,
which
yeah.
really does make you wonder, why? It's already bizarre that it was there to begin with, but why was it removed once the public found out about it? Again, assuming this is all real, because I don't have a way to verify it myself at this point. It was apparently deleted 10 years ago, but why did they try to bury it? Why did they try to cover it up? What's there that they don't want you to see? While looking into Comet Pizza, some people noticed something peculiar about the logo of Besta Pizza, another pizza place in Washington, D.C., located only 2 blocks down from Comet. Besta Pizza's logo is literally the boy lover symbol from the FBI document. Of course, this could be a coincidence, but again,
it's not a coincidence.
As soon as people started
it's literally not
online and pointing it out, Besta Pizza immediately changed their logo and removed the symbol. Could they have just genuinely not known this, and then as soon as people start talking?
Nah, that's bullshit. They know. And it's literally in Washington fucking DC, bro.
Talking about it online, they realize and change it? Yeah, sure. And to be honest, Besta Pizza was kind of put in a lose-lose situation, because if they ignore what's going on and don't do anything, people are going to point to the symbolism and say they're involved. But if they do something like change their logo, people are going to say, oh, well, obviously they did know about this symbolism, and now they're trying to cover it up. Some people online
yes and no
have made the claim that Besta Pizza, which is now closed, was owned by Andrew Klein, who worked with...
Oh, it's closed now? All of a sudden, it's just closed? Oh, they just close. Website just gets deleted. It isn't out of nowhere.
The Human Trafficking Prosecution Unit under Obama's Department of Justice. And if that was the...
Obama, bro.
Case, it would be a glaring red flag and would make the symbolism in the logo being a coincidence seemingly impossible. However, doing my own research, that doesn't seem to be the case, and I would say that there's a very small probability that there's any truth behind that claim at all. The DC Department of Consumer and Regulatory Affairs listed Besta Pizza under the corporate entity Uptown Pizza Inc., and Andrew Klein is listed as a non-commercial registered agent, which means that he was a third party associated with Besta Pizza, most likely a lawyer, but definitely not the owner. I say most likely a lawyer because Veritas Law Firm in Washington, D.C. has an Andrew J. Klein listed as their co-founder, who's been representing business and real estate clients for over 30 years. And from his picture, he's visibly a different person than the one associated with the Obama administration. If you ask me to point to one part of this whole theory that I think is most likely to be just a coincidence, it would be this part, and I really do think that these two men are just both named Andrew J. Klein. But who knows, maybe the lawyer isn't a real person and he's actually a honeypot designed by the deep state in order to make the whole conspiracy more easy to delegitimize. I don't think that's likely, but crazier things have happened. Just across the street from...
You know, there's a conspiracy, which I think is true. They clone people. They take celebrities, they take them away, and then they replace them with someone else, and they use them as a puppet to guide the public. I think, you know what I'm saying?
Ping Pong and Besta Pizza is a French restaurant known as Terrasol Gallery. And again, just like Besta Pizza, as soon as people started talking about this logo online, it vanished from their website. They were put into the same lose-lose situation, and again, people took this response and action as an admission of guilt. And again, if there weren't so many other coincidences, I don't think that people would have harped on this point so much. But there are so many other coincidences, and people can only lend you so much credence. Also on the Terrasol website was a picture of Hillary Clinton there, and I will not comment any farther on that.
You know, these politicians, they love blaming each other. They're like, oh, you ate babies. Oh, you do this. Oh, you knew about Epstein. They're all on the same team, bro. They're all actors. That's what this is, bro.
And that's a pretty strong endorsement. The food was probably really good. Of course, people were also looking into the Comet logo at this time, and while there was no blatant symbology that was mentioned in the FBI document, people did find something strange. Now stay with me because this is gonna sound like a reach, and it did to me at first too, but people pointed out that the Comet logo features crescent moons similar to some depictions of
Yo! Like I said, Moloch, or the bald demon.
Moloch. For those of you who don't know, Moloch is a deity from the Hebrew Bible strongly associated with child sacrifice. Some depictions of Moloch, especially later depictions, show him with a star on his forehead and 2 crescent moons around either one of his hands. I know this seems like a massive reach, but guess what Old World God's name appears in an Instagram post by Jimmy Comet? That's right, in this post on Jimmy Comet's Instagram showing off some Christmas presents he received, if you zoom in on the bottom left, you can see the...
Oh my fucking god, bro. Our government's compromised.
Word Moloch. That is so strange. And it's not like it's in a book or anything either. It looks like it's printed out on a single sheet of paper. Personally, I've never received any sort of gift, especially not a Christmas gift, referencing Moloch or any other deity. Maybe this is normal and I'm just out of the loop.
Oh, it's normal for them niggas. Oh, it's normal, nigga. It's fucking normal. They're evil as shit.
That seems really weird.
They're evil.
Keep in mind all the ties to the occult and Marina Abramovich. It's all just so strange, and when that's the best case scenario, when the best case scenario is that you do occult rituals and worship...
Moloch was mentioned in the Epstein files though too.
Old world deities that are connected to human sacrifice, it doesn't exactly leave a positive impression on people. The Pizzagate conspiracy all coalesced into one incident that took place at Comet Ping Pong, and my good friend Mr. Pilled is gonna jump in and give you the rundown on the entire event.
In 2016, a crazed lunatic, driven mad by absurd conspiracy theories, stormed into Comet's Pizza armed with a rifle. Totally incoherent and insane, of course, he starts firing wildly at everyone and hurts no one, and only destroys
what the fuck?
one very peculiar and convenient item. According to the official Department of Justice narrative, 29-year-old Edgar Welch did indeed walk into Comet's Pizza armed with a AR-15 and a revolver. Customers and employees alike fled. while Edgar himself remained inside of the restaurant for about 20 minutes. What was
Okay.
he doing in there? Well, he found a locked closet door, and he tried to jimmy it open. But when he couldn't, he decided to fire rounds into
That nigga said, fuck it, I'm gonna shoot that bitch.
After that, he didn't try and continue to get inside. He didn't break down the door. He stashed away his rifle and his revolver, walks outside unarmed, and is then arrested and sentenced to 4 years in prison. Now, what was inside that closet
That nigga is dead, bro.
randomly that happened to get hit and destroyed? It was a computer, and everything on it was now gone. I don't know about you, but even before looking deeper into it, even the official narrative is very weird.
Yeah.
It's just way too clean for an active shooter event like this. Historically speaking, these are not so happy ending. Authorities claim that the AR-15 and the revolver were recovered inside of the restaurant.
And you wonder why a lot of these politicians want to ban AR-15s and guns and shit. This is fucking why, bro. Because they don't want us to defend ourselves, bro. Now, I don't agree with him going into that bitch and just start shooting motherfuckers. That's crazy. But
And then they discovered a shotgun hidden in his trunk with some ammunition. But one of the only eyewitnesses to this event, a lawyer in Maryland named Sharif, who was there with his wife and kids, claims that Edgar walked in initially with a shotgun. While this whole thing was going down, Sharif was making a series of tweets detailing the situation, while he also claims that Edgar stashed away the shotgun potentially for future use. In the official narrative, it does describe Edgar stashing weapons away for potential future use. However, my problem lies in the discrepancy between what kind of weapon. And that's because you don't have to be a firearms expert to tell the difference between a shotgun and an AR-15.
True.
They're very distinct. They have very distinct profiles and silhouettes. Anyways, get this. Edgar Welch.
I'm just saying, a lot of these politicians, they obsessed with AR-15s. They don't want niggas having AR-15s, bro. They don't want you to own one. I don't know why they is, but
Is an
you know
actor
what I mean?
listed on IMDb. Now that alone would be just a crazy, weird coincidence, right? But his father, Harry Welch, owns a media company by the name of Forever Young Productions. You can't make
You know, it's crazy. These politicians are trying to avoid their own like mortality and shit, but like they're still aging. Like Donald Trump, Hillary, like they're still aging and shit. Peter Thiel, they're all fucking aging and shit. Still, bro. Like they thought they was gonna like. You thought you was gonna live forever, nigga? Nigga, you're retarded,
this
bro.
shit up. That's not where the oddities end, though.
Fucking
Harry Welch
retards.
is a creature in his own. According to his IMDb bio, Harry Welch is a very, very distinguished fella. Let's take a look at it. Written over 30 screenplays. He took up karate in his 30s. That's pretty late, pretty old to be fighting. And then went undefeated in 200 matchups. Wow. Holy moly.
What?
He holds 7 Guinness Book World Records for one-armed, one finger, and one fingertip push-ups.
Hold on, go back. What did I say? See, I reacted to a video about the whole Epstein shit. Or it wasn't about the whole Epstein shit, but about the whole like billionaire shit. Bro, Ronald Reagan and Nixon, they be at those fucking Bohemian Grove shits, y'all. They be there, bro. They be there. They be sacrificing kids and shit. It's a real thing. They were there. Ronald Reagan and Nixon. You know what I'm saying? They were at that shit with video proof. And then Trump worships this nigga Ronald Reagan. You know what I mean?
World
Like,
records
and
for
then look, selected Harry to join 15 other broadcasters to video. Bro,
Unarmed, one
nigga sold his soul, bro.
finger, and one fingertip push-ups. Very impressive. Not only is he a physical specimen, but he's got a soft side too. He served as a foster family to 3 different children and is an avid animal lover, being a rescuer of animals for 30 years, rescuing tigers, jaguars, leopards, servals, and operating a no-kill shelter for dogs, housing up to 55 at a time. They have found forever homes for over 300. So sweet. Things start to get a little bit more serious, though, in his bio, saying he worked on federal, state, and local task forces fighting the war on drugs. Served 5 years with the Rowan County ABC Police. Side note, the ABC Police, I don't know what that is or what that stands for, because I couldn't find any information on what the hell the ABC Police was. Stakeouts, watching illegal stills, patrolling the county for suspected bootleggers, even working with the ATF. Gross. Even the President of the United States in 1988, Ronald Reagan himself recognized the excellence of Harry Welch, because
He be at the Ronald Reagan. He be at the Bohemian Grove shits. He be worshiping Moloch and shit. That's
He
real.
hand-selected him and 15 others to check out various military installations, even giving them national clearance and letting them check out the Cheyenne Mountain Nuclear Bunker, which is a command alternative for NORAD. That's big boy stuff right there. Why would goofy old Harry, owner of Forever Young Productions, need to explore a nuclear bunker?
Because they plan on destroying the world with nukes. No, I'm just kidding. I think they're protecting themselves in bunkers because they know that this shit's gonna come out one day, and when they figure it out, they're gonna flee their bunkers. And
However, I think the weirdest highlight was one that stood out mainly because of the context. Served as executive director for Protect a Child, a national nonprofit organization to prevent abuse and abduction of children, appointed by Governor Jim Martin to the Governor's Commission on Child Victimization. In conjunction with this story and this conspiracy theory, that's a little weird. But what's weirder is the fact that this Protect a Child organization doesn't exist. At least I couldn't find anything on it.
they're not protecting children. They eating children, man.
So as far as I know, this doesn't exist. So why would he put it in his bio? That's about as far as it goes for Harry Welch. I couldn't really find anything else, but I want to bring this back to Edgar because his story's not finished yet. So I like to remain skeptical when I dive deep into these subjects, so that way I don't get sucked into that I want to believe mindset, you know? Because I think that's pretty easy. I was asking myself, if he was really a part of this conspiracy, what would he gain from destroying that computer? What would be his motive to do that? And looking into Edgar's past, I think I found a fairly reasonable potential answer to that. See, previous to the charges that landed him a 4-year sentence after walking into Comet's Pizza, Edgar had struck a 13-year-old child in a reckless driving incident. And as a man who had previous DWI charges, he was facing a pretty serious sentencing. And if we're playing with the idea that some very powerful people needed a scapegoat or a way to get rid of some evidence or a way to maybe suppress these conspiracy theories that were making their ways out into the public, then I think it'd be a no-brainer if he was left between the choices of leaving his fate and his freedom up to the court system, potentially facing much harsher punishment, or, you know, walk into this pizza joint. Don't hurt anybody. Don't do nothing too bad. Just destroy this computer. Get 4 years, you know, fairly light, and then be on your way. Have your previous charges nullified. It's a good deal. I'd take that deal. Just some food for thought. Well, to finally wrap this...
He was sent. He was sent by the top 1%. The fuck is that?
Chapter up, Edgar didn't even get to enjoy his freedom because 5 years after his release,
he died
in January of 2025, Edgar was killed in a...
I know it. He died. No, it's... Our world is ran by global elites. That's what this is, bro.
...related shooting after a traffic stop. Apparently, he pulled a gun on officers, and no one knows why. Sounds a lot like a loose end tied up to me. But what do I know?
Big thank you to Ethan or Mr. Pilled for jumping in and going over that whole section. He's a really great dude. I've known him for about 5 years now, which is crazy. Time flies. But he makes really good videos. If you like the stuff that I post over here, there's a good chance that you'll like a lot of his content as well. So I'll leave a link to his stuff in the description and in the comments. Go check him out and tell him to post more often. He did a really good job, so I don't feel the need to yap too much about this. But again, just so many coincidences that you have to overlook. What are the chances that this guy is facing serious criminal charges before he decides to do something like this? It's not impossible, but it is a little bit weird. What are the odds that this guy, who happens to be an actor, decides to go into Comet with a rifle and do something like this and nobody gets hurt except the computer is destroyed? That's pretty convenient. Not impossible. I mean, maybe he was just a lunatic, crazy...
No, he wasn't. He was sent by them to do their bidding. He sacrificed his soul. He sacrificed his life to them. And they give him everything he could have ever wanted. You know what I mean?
Do crazy things all the time. But again, with everything else taken into consideration, it gets harder to ignore these oddities in the story. If it was just a few weird things, it would be much easier to say people are just drawing lines and connections where there really aren't any, and it's all just one crazy conspiracy theory. But when every single beat of the story is filled with these coincidences, it gets harder and harder for people to just overlook them and say, yeah, there's no chance that any of this is real. Maybe the official story is 100% true, and this really is nothing more than a conspiracy, and none of these things are connected at all in any way. But in the court of public opinion, you're going to have a really hard time convincing people of that.
Oh,
the
yeah,
human
I
brain
know.
is designed to recognize patterns, so when seemingly all of this stuff is connected, you're going to have a really hard time convincing people that that's not the case. That pretty much summarizes the entire theory, or at least everything that I can cover here in a reasonable amount of time. The whole thing goes so incredibly deep that I would never be able to cover absolutely everything.
Oh, you think this Epstein shit is crazy? It gets deeper than that. And then after that, it gets even deeper. It gets deeper. You know what I'm saying? The Rothschilds and shit.
If this does interest
All
you,
them
I
niggas.
highly recommend going down the rabbit hole yourself, because there's just an endless amount of theories and speculation online. But before we go, here are a bunch of other coincidences that
It's not a theory, it's real.
I stumbled across when researching that I couldn't really fit into the main portion of this script. First of all, Hillary Clinton, who is seemingly very tied into this whole alleged scandal. She's very connected to all the people who are directly involved. Well, Frank Giestra, a member of the Clinton Foundation Board of Trustees who's donated over $100 million to the foundation, helped fund the Al-Qaeda Project, a project focused on raising the living conditions of refugees. And the logo is literally the exact same as the symbol mentioned in the FBI document for Boy Lover. The Besta Pizza logo was pretty on the money with that same symbol. This is literally just that symbol. It's exact. It's not even a different color. It is just a giant blue spiraling triangle. Another person connected to the Clintons is Laura Silsby, the founder of New Life Children's Refuge. She went to Haiti in 2010 to help rehome orphaned children after the catastrophically destructive magnitude 7 earthquake. What a
Damn,
kind-hearted woman, right? Surely she would never traffic children. Well, guess what? She was caught by Haitian authorities smuggling 33 children on a bus across the Haitian border into the Dominican Republic. She was doing this without permission from Haiti, so illegal. And then when she was detained, it became quickly apparent that most of, if not all of these children, weren't even orphans. So she took essentially a class full of children, took them away from their families, and then tried to flee the country and cross the border. Well, she was held in Haiti facing charges of conspiracy
We gotta look at who she was working for.
and
That's
child
what exactly. You
abduction
gotta look at what she's who she was working for.
until Bill Clinton stepped in and got her charges reduced to arranging irregular travel.
See, I told y'all, bro. All these fucking politicians are on the same fucking team, bro. We cannot let these niggas make us forget about this Epstein shit. Never let it go.
She served a 6-month sentence in Haiti and then was returned to the United States. And fun fact, this woman who tried to smuggle children across the border away from their families has since changed her name to Laura Gaylor and has since been given an executive role at AlertSense, the company that provides the delivery infrastructure for Amber Alert. You know Amber Alert? The shit that pings your phone when a child goes missing? Yeah, a woman who was tried for child abduction is working for that company as an...
Oh, hell nah, bro. Our entire government is ran by pedophile, sadist motherfuckers, bro. There's no way. And you think about it. Every time you get that Amber Alert of like a missing child, oh, it got kidnapped. You know what I mean? Like,
executive. That is so awesome. And then when Monica Peterson, the assistant director at the Human
bro, hold on.
Trafficking Center
Nah,
in
that's
Colorado began
crazy.
looking into the Clintons' involvement in Haiti, she was found dead. Of course, this was ruled to be caused by her
Oh, she was dead.
own volition. Haven't heard that one before, right guys? And then there's one more slice to this story, and one that has largely been forgotten as time has moved on. It's something known as Cheesy Bay. This is the last time you'll hear me say this here, but I'm not asserting that this is true, and you should really take this last part with a grain of salt because it relies heavily on unproven claims. On April 21st, 2016, a Reddit throwaway account posted the question, Why would there be 30-something Wi-Fi networks apparently coming from underneath a concrete pad? The user says that they had recently been working on a semi-urban farm property in Honolulu, and he then connected the man who owned the property to an eBay account selling faulty computer parts for ridiculous prices. The eBay
They're selling children.
accounts allegedly belong to a man going under the aliases Biff Skipman and Dave Flintstone. Someone apparently managed to hack into his emails and found correspondence with Sasha Lord, a DC area mentor for at-risk children, and also the event organizer at Comet Ping Pong. Now, the reason that I specifically mentioned that you should take this part as a grain of salt is because these emails were never fact-checked or verified by any government agency or third-party source, unlike the Podesta emails, so we don't even know if these are true. But allegedly, this eBay seller and the event organizer at Comet Ping Pong had been put in touch by a person named Richard Windsor. Who is Richard Windsor? Well, it happens to be a known alias for the Environmental Protection Agency Administrator Lisa Jackson, who is also a
Wait. Lisa Jackson's the Vice President of Environment Policy and Social Bill Gates, bro. They're all pedophiles. They eat babies. They're all on the same team, bro. Our entire government, they're all full of shit. Appointed by Barack Obama, oh my god, dude. This shit is ridiculous, bro.
Clinton Foundation board member. This part is true. She was caught using the fake email name Richard Windsor for who knows what, right? So it was already known that she had been communicating under the alias of Richard Windsor. So it's very plausible that people online already knew that she was
The elites are getting more and more exposed. They can't hide it anymore. They really can't. Like, when you really think about it, they really can't hide it because the internet, it's too big. And it's permanent. So once something goes up on the internet, it's on there forever. You know, like
under this
it's
alias,
over.
and then they added this alias into this theory or story to kind of make it seem more credible. But coincidentally, Dave Flintstone, the man who was apparently running this eBay account, also happens to be the name of a man who founded a distillery in Hawaii. If you remember, OP said that they had been working on an urban farm area in Honolulu. This bag from OP's pictures also resembles a bag that Dave Flintstone has been photographed with. And there's one more email from the Podesta leaks that I haven't mentioned to you yet. Man, I miss you. The next 3 months are going to be rougher internally than in Beijing. Between 7th and 1600. No fun. Hope you're doing okay. I'm dreaming about your hot dog stand in Hawaii.
Yo, these motherfuckers are sick, bro.
Email was sent from Todd Stern, another Democratic donor and a person tied in with the Clintons. That seems like a weird thing to say. I'm dreaming about your hot dog stand in Hawaii. Well, this is a very recent revelation, but in April of this year, a man named David Flintstone, who is a resident of Hawaii, was arrested in Colombia for soliciting a minor. Upon responding, the officers found the 60-year-old foreigner in the company of a 15-year-old. Initial investigations indicate that the man had arranged an encounter with her worth 1 million pesos. The David Flintstone that was arrested in Colombia also happens to be the same age as the one who founded the dispensary. They're both 60 years old. For whatever reason, the man's face is blurred in the article, so there's no way to tell for sure if this is the same person. But if these are two different men, that is a wild coincidence, because they would have to share the same first name, the same last name, be the same age, and both be from Hawaii. And even though the man arrested in Colombia had his face blurred, they do vaguely resemble each other, especially in the body structure. As of right now, like I said, there's no official confirmation that these are the same people, so we'll just have to wait and see if anything else comes out. But those odds have to be like 1 in a billion. That is crazy.
That's
especially
insane,
in Hawaii. I just
bruh.
looked it up, and the population is under 1.5 million people, so it's a very small state. Anyways, guys, that's it for me.
Nah, bro. This shit ain't no theory. This is real, bruh. This is real. This ain't no conspiracy, nigga. I'm not gonna lie, bro, but this whole situation, bro, it really opens your eyes. Like, our world is ran by Hitler pedophiles, bro. That ass, bro. Our world is literally ran by Hitler pedophiles. Think about that. It's crazy, man, but, you know, one day we will rise. There will be a revolution. I'm a revolution optimist. It will happen. It's inevitable. They're retards. Don't let these motherfuckers scare you into thinking they have all this power, bro. No, bro. They're not that powerful. It's just an illusion of power. But I hope you have a good breakfast, a good dinner, good night, man. Also, just to let you guys know, I am not suicidal. I have no intention on dying. I love myself, and people love me. I'm a good driver. I know how to drive. I love y'all, man. Peace.